Are game systems there to produce unexpected, disagreeable outcomes? Today on Out of Character. Welcome to Out of Character. I'm Jason Corley.
I'm Scott Forster.
I'm Derek Rex.
And assisting us today in engineering is Aaron Lee Newbern.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about something that I saw first on a blog post, and then it was discussed further in a podcast that Vincent Baker said, and I paraphrased him a little bit. He's the designer of Apocalypse World, Dogs in the Vineyard, In a Wicked Age. He's a great RPG designer. He does a lot of theoretical thinking. And he says that the purpose of a game system in an RPG is to produce unexpected, disagreeable outcomes. Okay? And the reason why they have to be both unexpected and disagreeable is because if we all expect it, if it's not a surprise to us, then why do we need a system for it?
Right.
We can just have it happen if everyone expects it to happen.
Right.
And if it has to be disagreeable because if it's something that we can all agree to, again, why do we have a system for it? That's his point. So I thought that this was I thought this was a very provocative statement. I'm not sure I 100% agree with it. And
that's good because my first reaction was not to agree with it. Certainly not 100%.
My first reaction was I think he's got a pretty good point.
Okay,
so.
well, let's
What?
start.
You're an idiot? No. Okay, why do you think he's got a good point, Scott?
I think he's got a good point because, well, I like to react to what's going on in the game. As a 99% of the time, I'm the game master, and if I know everything that's going on, I might as well just play by myself. I like to have the game system create something crazy that I can improv off of, and the more disagreeable, conflict and misery drive story and make things interesting, And
I will agree with that. All right, absolutely. But my first reaction when I heard this, and you had sent this out as a potential topic, was that nothing can ever work out the way it's planned.
Right.
And I think that every once in a while you need to have things work out the way they're planned. Otherwise, why give those tools to the players if it's going to be chaos the whole time?
I'm a big fan of the say yes or roll the dice.
That's
theory.
another rule that he put into Dogs in the Vineyard. That's
right.
one of the things that he
explain
principles.
this. Say yes or roll the dice.
Yeah.
If a player says, I want to do something, then you either, as DM, just say, okay, it worked, or you make it interesting by roll the dice. If somebody says, I open the door, and they're in their house, you don't make them make an open doors check. You just say, okay, the door's open.
Got it.
And so, only when it's really interesting and you want a chance for something to go wrong do you make them roll the dice.
And that's part of most of the games, I think, that opportunity for something to go wrong.
Right.
But I think there does need to be the opportunity for it to go right as well.
Sure.
And that was my first reaction to this, was he's saying, don't let anything ever go wrong.
Well, I disagree with that sentiment slightly, because if everything goes wrong, then it's not unexpected, is it? The idea is not to add failure, it's to add uncertainty. Uncertainty drives stories. It is what makes you turn the next page of the book and break down the next door of the dungeon.
Right, what's going to happen, what's in the next room.
I argue that is the entire purpose and should be the only thing an RPG system focuses on in rules. You are there to figure out what is going to go wrong the players have to deal with and how they can deal with it. Everything else is pointless fluff. And fluff is great. I love fluff, but everything... But
Tell us what you really think, Aaron.
everything else is so much window dressing. Give me a system for conflict, give me a world, that is your RPG. Anything beyond that is silliness.
Well, I think that there is something to be said for simulation in an RPG. And I don't mean like you're trying to track where a bullet goes when it enters the body. I can't even remember which RPG that was from the 80s that did that. But I think that there is something to be said for simulation, and a game like GURPS or the basic role-playing system or Champions even, in which the purpose of the entirety of the system isn't just to generate dramatic outcomes. It's to generate any outcome about which there is any doubt. And so whether it's relevant or irrelevant to the player's intention, sometimes it's just more granular than that. Like, for example, in your D&D game, Scott, if I am playing a fighter and I make an attack on an orc, I want my fighter to hit the orc. But if I don't hit the orc, it's probably not a huge disappointment to me.
Probably.
I'm going to hit some, I'm going to miss some.
Right.
At that level of, does my guy hit this dude in 6 seconds, probably I don't have a real expected agreeable outcome. I just need to know sort of what, how many resources am I going to expend? How much is he going to damage me? How many attacks is he going to, get on my friend? Or whatever it happens to be, my tactical decision making.
And I think you're mirroring what I'm feeling is that there's got to be some level of reasonable expectation from the players that things are going to work the way they plan them. If everything is a reaction and you have no idea how things are going to work out, I think people are going to get frustrated and walk away.
I think the bad effect, it's going to make a disagreeable outcome, but that just has to be one outcome. I think there is going to be a positive outcome. There has to be a chance for the positive outcome there. So, you're not setting it up as something disagreeable always happens.
Yeah, and there can be a disagreeable positive outcome. Disagreeable in this context means that we at the table debating about what's going to happen next in our game could not reach this agreement, this thing that the system is going to produce. So you can have a disagreeable, positive outcome, something that where it happens or you succeed in some way, but it's not how you expected. Your plan didn't go exactly as you desired. So I think the disagreeable part is a little bit more than the unexpected part. At least I'm any more in agreement with the disagreeable part. Does that make any sense? Agreement with disagreeableness?
No,
I think possibly players are there to create disagreeable and unexpected results. I'm not sure.
And then, of course, it seems to me like you've just promoted a system where you are encouraging everybody to disagree,
right?
Which means that you spend 4 hours deciding what you're going to order at the tavern. And nobody wants that, but we've had,
That's a say yes moment. You ordered that? Okay, fine. Moving on.
Ordered it.
The point is, they won't order.
The thing is the quote was, the purpose of the system of an RPG is to create a disagreeable outcome. The purpose of the RPG is not to create the disagreeable outcome, but that is the entire purpose of having a system. Everything else is fluff. And fluff is great, and that's where the yes and moment comes in, because you can just say, yes, that happens. You don't need to roll on chart 37 to see what type of pizza toppings you got.
Unless it's an evil pizza.
Unless it is a sinister pizza.
And then it also seems to me that, you've set up a system that when you all of a sudden bring attention to the mundane, everybody's like, what's going on?
Something's up.
Maybe I don't want to eat that pepperoni pizza.
There is that. There is a narrative problem that, exactly which slice of the pizza do you take? But then your game's
my D12.
Right. Suddenly it's important. Anyone who reads the Knights of the Dinner Table will know that as a magic cow moment when they're walking past and somewhere in the box text it says, and there's a cow in the field. Suddenly everyone is worried that it's a cow. They convince themselves it's a magic cow. They try to climb over the fence to get to the cow. They roll to climb over the fence. It's hilarious.
I had a Call of Cthulhu group that they were in Alaska. Anchorage was on the map. They decided that was the most important thing, and they spent 2 hours wandering around Anchorage, knocking on doors, trying to find the plot.
Nice.
Tentacles? No. All right, next door.
All right. Well, I think that we've sort of hammered this into the ground, but I really think that it's a thought-provoking sentiment. So if you have anything that you'd like to give us feedback on this question, are game systems, are they there to produce unexpected, disagreeable outcomes? Send us information on Twitter, send us your opinion on Facebook, and maybe we can hash this out a little more at a future date. Because I think that there's a lot to be said for why are we all here? What is the function of a player? What's the function of a GM? What's the function of a game system?
I think that's 3 more shows.
Hey, I'm down for it.
Derek and I are going to hash this out after the camera.
I believe, however, we have proved it true just by the fact that this system has produced a unexpected, disagreeable outcome.
I am very agreeable with today's outcome. I just want to thanks everyone, and next time we will be talking about how you prepare for your game sessions. Take care.
PulpGamer.com